Picture this. You wake up before sunrise, no alarm, no phone. Around you, 7, maybe 10 people you've known your entire life. People who would die for you. Literally. You spend the morning moving through open land, using your hands, your body, your senses. By midday, you've eaten real food you found yourself. By evening, you're sitting around a fire, talking, laughing, listening to someone tell a story. You sleep when it gets dark. You do this every day. Now, when do you have time to be depressed? Here's what most people don't know. Anthropologists who spent years living with hunter-gatherer tribes, the Kaluli of Papua New Guinea, the Akungsan of the Kalahari, came back with something unexpected. Depression, as we know it, was almost non-existent. Not rare, almost non-existent. Edward Schieffelin studied the Kaluli for years. He documented their songs, their grief rituals, their emotional lives in extraordinary detail. And when he reviewed his notes looking for signs of clinical depression, hopelessness, numbness, the inability to feel pleasure, he found almost nothing. Compare that to today. The World Health Organization calls depression the leading cause of disability worldwide. In the United States, 1 in 5 adults will experience it this year. Among women, aged 18 to 24, that number is nearly 1 in 2. Same species. Completely different outcome. So what happened? There's a concept in evolutionary psychology called the Mismatch Hypothesis. The idea is simple. Your brain was built for a world that no longer exists. For 300,000 years, Homo sapiens lived in small, tight-knit bands of 20 to 50 people. You were never alone. You always had purpose, finding food, protecting your group, teaching the young. Your body moved for hours every day. You had no choice. You also had no future to worry about. Hunter-gatherers live almost entirely in the present. There's no mortgage, no career ladder, no 5-year plan. The concept of ruminating about things that haven't happened yet, that particular flavor of human suffering, is largely a product of the sedentary, abstract world we built after agriculture. Your brain, meanwhile, is still running the old software. It still craves the tribe. It still needs movement. It still expects a life built around immediate, physical, meaningful tasks. And when it doesn't get those things, when it gets a screen instead of a fire, a notification instead of a conversation, a chair instead of 10 miles of open land, it starts sending distress signals. We call those signals depression. But here's the thing, they're not a malfunction. They're your brain telling you that something important is missing. Researchers have now identified at least 6 things hunter-gatherers had as daily defaults. Things most modern humans experience rarely, if ever. Constant low-grade movement. Not gym sessions, just walking, carrying, building, crouching. The kind of movement that regulates cortisol and floods the brain with endorphins. Deep social belonging. Not followers, not contacts. A small group of people who knew your name, your history, your struggles, and needed you to survive. Immediate purpose. Every morning you woke up with a clear, physical, achievable goal. That sense of competence, of I did a thing that mattered today, was one of the most powerful antidepressants we know of. Sunlight. Real, unfiltered sunlight for hours. Sunlight that regulates serotonin, sets your circadian rhythm, tells every cell in your body what time it is. Physical touch. Hunter-gatherer groups have some of the highest rates of casual physical contact ever recorded. A hand on the shoulder, sleeping close together. Touch that modern adults, especially men, are almost completely deprived of. And nature. Not a park, not a screensaver. The real thing, sounds, smells, unpredictability, which research now confirms lowers cortisol faster than almost any pharmaceutical intervention. Take those 6 things away from any animal and it becomes anxious, lethargic, and withdrawn. We took all six away from ourselves. And then we invented a word for what happened next. We didn't evolve to be depressed. We evolved for a life that most of us no longer live. And somewhere between the invention of agriculture, the Industrial Revolution, and the smartphone, we quietly traded away the conditions that kept our minds healthy. The good news? You don't have to go live in the Kalahari. But understanding why your brain feels the way it does, why that might be the most useful thing you learn this year. If this made you think differently about your own mind, subscribe. Because next week, we're asking a question that's even harder to answer. Did early humans actually fall in love? Or was that something we invented too?